Anyway, so paranamasia pathways. That okay on a science fiction. What's a cancelled science fiction show? Like one that was too B grade. Uh, anyway, the pharmacists there in the future. They religiously thought that they themselves smarter than the complicated debates that transpired between Niels Bohr and Professor Einstein prior to his death during the period where everyone was really celebratory of just special and general theory of relativity. But Niels Bohr, Einstein initially contested, saying, I think what you're on about is rubbish. But he started to make some valid points and prove certain things to Einstein about subatomic, deeper within the atom. So yeah, Einstein splitting the atom and Niels Bohr going to the quantum level. Now, yeah, only the religious scientists really is they were worried about militant military forces getting wind of getting hold of technologies based on the theories of these gentlemen professors. Their theories being misused. Einstein wasn't particularly happy about the atom bomb, for instance. But yeah, so on that science fiction show that has nothing to do with Canberra, the capital of Australia, see all sorts of sociological initiatives start out first in this city as it is like being on a giant petri dish in a way, living in Canberra. It's sad though. It's sad if you wind up viewing it that way. But you know, what if businessmen that trade with the government? So also, what's annoying and they're marauders in that Roger Tall, I know the Queen, I'm friends with her, blah blah blah. You look like her. I wonder if you say a name when you're in bed with Max, given how much you like to call him Maxine Max instead of Lady Maxine. Call her Max after Maxwell Smart, because you know shoes have soles, and um, I think yeah, if Maxine wore Maxwell Smart's shoes, then Roger Tall might get a chode erection, which would extend the length of his penis to further than the size of his balls, basically, and he would enjoy that state of being. But anyway, conducting radiological tests on people. The problem is if they believe that there are gods that they can reach out to, and then they're using radio to talk to people. I think they're doing tests, but the Constitution on that planet has said that their permission must be sought explicitly and their consent given freely first. They also can't get information from a person's head without irradiating in a way where that information was, and thus causing mental deterioration, which is a physical process. Religious people in healthcare don't want to talk about that. Of course, a mental deterioration is a physical process. You're countering your education with Bronze Age and Iron Age ethical excuses if you don't think that a mental deterioration is a physical process. So the symptoms with a study, and because of wondering about surveillance, these Masons with surveillance think that deep down at heart that these people are trying to bond with them, connect with them. They think they're reaching for them. I think all this comes from the repressed homoeroticism about the confusion in the definition of the character of God and Lucifer. The second proof here is that, well, now we can move to say that we're offended by these articles saying that it's by definition the LGBT community suffering more mental breakdowns and depression and things like that. These things are happening, but how they're happening, a religious healthcare officiate's going to consider their religion being a force of harm to the community. It's obviously a community they've cast aside. We absolutely know for a fact that your religions, whatever they are, don't consider these sexual health identities to be valid or natural. Nor do you consider them morally right to exist. That's what your religion rules out. So it pisses me off because I take responsibility for what I do. I did honestly see more sincerity in patients and locum pharmacists. The temptation then and pressure and attrition on a pharmacist to I think of a former friend who's now bought a store, and I think well he's into architecture. I was reading about Freemasons have this character in their story called the Architect. So I wonder if Gary and Roger first poached this guy who had studied architecture. But the pressure to sell out is part of raising enough capital to build more stores in more suburbs, and yeah, just going well. This person, so they do what they think a cursory inquiry into the person's life. If they wonder things like, well, are their parents so religious that if they hear a story like while on drugs, Luke Bandon did, and then they'll believe anything. The hysteria over putting an ecstasy pill or a speed pill or some meth or some acid or some whatever in your mouth is it's not an apple in a garden that the Almighty does not want anyone to eat. So what the Christians then do is they just they consider it knowledge. They don't consider that it's gossip. They don't consider that it's hearsay or lies. The point of eating the apple in the Garden of Eden was to obtain more knowledge. So the Christian mongers just go, oh, what did he do on drugs? Oh. So because of it, yeah, they can plan. The Freemasons can plan burglaries, and they can, if they think that you're a martyr, they can pay money, bribery money to like a doorman security guard. I confronted him. So I confronted him later because I saw him in Arendelle. I was like, dude, I've DJed and seen you in clubs for many years. Why'd you take a fucking bribe to say I go to a fucking strip club in Queensland somewhere? Two friends took me without me knowing that's where they were taking me, and I played a game of pool. But I was in earshot of a man handing a $50 note to a security guard saying, "Say this guy comes here all the time." So I imagine then that later Roger and Gary dispatched police to go and interview the same man and ask about me. But I don't have a car. I don't afford taxis really. I live. My former boss at the warehouse died would say, "You live in hand to mouth." Oh yeah, okay, and I'm trying to suck my own dick. But yeah, unfortunately, no, I don't. I only visited that place once. I know I was a backseat passenger in two friends' cars. But I did overhear the bribe. Saw him hand the 50. Saw the guy say, "What did you say?" Agree to the bribe. And then I thought, "Fuck." So I'm subpoena. I'm getting suck my subpoenas, suck my subpoenas, because I get to read all of this, and then yeah, Roger and Gary, how much damage have you done to me? See, you don't if you have a hobby, you don't say you are a ballerina as a hobby. You don't, and then you have a job in a chemist. You don't every customer that turns up, you don't do ballerina spins in front of them. Like you know how to cast aside the fact that you're a ballerina in another setting, from the fact that you're serving people in healthcare, and they just need to do that with religion as well. They need to know this is not the place. Get the fuck out of here. This is not the place for your religion. That is for the church. You want to talk about God and you want to give $1,000 pills saying God bless you. Fuck yourself, Gary. You keep religion away. Stop telling these people God is giving these gifts of $1,000 pills to people. You fucking sell out. That's why I've got how many hundred videos on my channel, and no confrontation or argument from you, just some distant hacking, tech hacking, TV hacking, computer hacking, electronics hacking. You know, I'm a little surprised. I thought your temperament to the point of violence would have been long since the buttons would have been long since pushed by me, and you don't show up for that fight after everything that you two said. And how silent was I? Because I was told to be silent, yelled at by Peter. You don't permit the discussion of a staff matter or a staff problem. You want to impose the problems on the staff while they're making 330 Webster packs per week and hurting their back and neck in an unergonomic setting, doing jobs that a pharmacist should technically do in terms of updating med charts from profiles on computers from faxed med charts without the pharmacist's review of them beforehand. You're told to do that, so now your technician is being compromised morally when you actually did enjoy defending the scope and limitations morally of what a dispensary technician is and does. And I just, yeah, sincerity will get you so much further with these people. That's why like, epileptic patients were telling me to take my scooter for a spin around the fucking block. Well, my patient and friend sat on a chair, and I scooted around the huge shops on the electric scooter. And it's because I spoke to this person like a human. You know, actually, we had a joke romance discussion when I served her one day, because she can't walk and is in a scooter and has one eye raised all the time. So I said, why are you? I'm not gonna say her name, but I said, you keep coming in here and raising your eye at me like that. What are you thinking? And she's like, oh, fuck you, my fucking face is my face is stuck in this position. I'm like, oh, okay, I thought. And she goes, don't worry, you don't she said, you don't know what a woman who can't feel her legs is capable of doing. I was like, sheesh kebab. No, so yeah, you just when you're in the lab as a scientist, fucking kill your God, kill your TV, keep to the scope and limitations of what the job's about. Fuck the slogans. Argue with Jenny Coulston. And Jenny Coulston walks around like I can't believe this attitude. No, trust me, I'd make better slogans for them in 10 seconds. It's like Iron Age shit, what they're writing on their fucking ads. Might as well write kneel before that capital Lord. The next slogan. What'd you do? What'd you do that, Freemason? Freemason, where's your mouth going? I did try to speak. And now lastly, in your obvious loathing and disappointment at the fact that you're telling other people's kids that they're gay because of your religious views on what you know, or at least know now, involves a creator God who was a fusion of two gods together, and you come up with this theory: a gay person is a person rebelling against their own sexuality. Essentially, if just a religious movement needs to understand every single member, they don't have the right to accost the individual and define the individual's sexual identity. And the only but the thing is, this LGBT community's existence absolutely reflects that the religious people want to keep on trying to do what their religions say, though they won't say it out loud. It would be too gutless. But they view everyone in the LGBT community as sexually incorrect. What's correct is incest in a garden. There's origins. Is what. Anyway, I'm trying to help you deal with the shit that they'll pull. But you can see this community is full of gentle people on the topic of pretty much any conversation. Gentle, and don't understand. Many just don't understand why breakdowns and copious stress levels and pressure is perhaps they're more sensitive to. Well, the religious person's been fake. If they come with you, go, oh, don't worry, I still think Jesus loves and accepts you. It's like, fucking look, we're talking about truth here. And if you have the goal to want to go, oh, become a Christian again, then we'll teach you. We'll get you to sign a contract. No wanking. Please, no wanking. God's watching. And it's actually really ironic to be against homosexuality because with every Christian man believing that their God above is watching them fuck. It's why their sex is very missionary, because they got the face on looking at the partner and their back to God, so that their God be with them in their minds. They're at least trying to have some privacy. Well, you have technically said theologically that you believe that a superpower male was watching you fuck your woman, and you love him more than her. Obviously, she's subordinate to you. Your Bible says that too. So it's actually really, really stupid that you're against homosexuals. It's been found in sheep. The sheep don't get together and go, oh, let's call the Christians on their bluff. When Christian sermons end with, I'm sending you out as sheep amongst wolves. Solitary is beautiful. I love individuality. And I'm very thankful to artists that have helped me to cultivate a sense of individuality for myself, independence and self-responsibility. It is not a psychological phenomenon where I'm been tricked or misled by artists. This talk came from these fucking pandering sellout pharmacists that don't disclose their research bullshit they're into and how damaging and harmful it is, and it deserves protest. It's just a knowledge of it. They're trying to shaft the term conspiracy into a form of paranoia. So if rich distant people conspire to do something and they target a poor person and the poor person can describe the crime, the policeman will go, oh, that's a conspiracy. What? Yeah, you're right. Conspiracy theory. They must be paranoid. Get them on the $1,000 drugs. That's what these fuckers are doing. Stealing our words and fair words. And that's again, they're antagonized internally because their religion's not true, but they're trying to grandstand as the provisioners of a moral. Yeah, so that was fucking that. I want to say, because I think it's not that I don't respect the. I try to respect as much as I can possibly to pretty much to everybody, but to everyone. And people can cross the line, and that's Gary, Roger, and realizing what they thought about Doppelhurst, one of my favorite art pieces, meant I realized they were implicitly Christian, so that it did not occur to them that the murder of Jesus is something that I take offense to, and so I suppose the main reason would be that the efforts they do to try to get people involved in psych wards, they've probably maybe dealt with Calvary as well. And Calvaries are named after the word Calvary is the concept of you being thankful for this man's death, the manner in way this man's death occurred. It was an error because he lived in a time in a society that did not have a political, intellectual structure that catered to the identity of him, I think. So he became a target and got killed, but because of his decency, the people was like with Diana dying, raise the flag and show respect. And so, that's why Calvary Hospital is offensive. Dying and rising again doesn't make sense to them scientifically. So, split personalities come up in psych talk. That it's on a foundation of a religion that we can't respect. It needs to be practiced that you don't bring a preacher to a counter in a pharmacy. You don't have someone say, "Can I get a packet of Panadol?" and you say, Oh yeah. By the way, don't you know that you're a doll in the eyes of God who loves you? He sacrificed his son for you, had him killed. He rose again, and he's at the moment he's on Krypton. He thought he'd visit Krypton. On the way to that exploded. Yeah, can someone argue back about the religion? Because I invite you. I invite you because these hospitals and the Calvary franchises obviously extends to other states in this country. But the question, why do you think religious violation of the Religious Discrimination Act is a sensible way aesthetic for your hospital? And if they get rid of that, watch the bisexual community health start to peak and improve. Because yeah, I'm fighting against Antichrist is against the idea that this man was your savior. You don't watch an innocent man get horrifically killed and consider that killing to save you. It's like be complicit in a fucking crime. Like I can't stand it. So an Antichrist. That's fucking that. I can feel my head snap when I turn it. Notice that lately I'm on edge. Grabbed Vanilla Ice and ripped out his blonde dreads. Every girl I ever been out with has gone les, so follow me and do exactly what the song says. I tied a rope around my penis and fell from a tree. Don't you want to be just like me? Oh no.